Our podcast originated from two inquisitive women walking around and listening to the senior offered us general, interesting, and inspiring life stories of their own. I hope you find their stories as fun and valuable as we do. Jeanne, thank you so much for coming to our podcast.
Thank you, Yuko, for inviting me. It's nice to meet you.
I'm so happy to meet you, Jeanne.
You too. Same here. Thank you very much. I appreciate your work.
So, Jeanne, can you tell us a bit about your upbringing, yourself?
All right. I grew up in Manhattan. I was in a foster home in Brooklyn for a year or so, and then I was transferred to a foster home in Manhattan. And it was a huge change. You know, both moms in the foster home made an effort, but there were several children in the foster home in Brooklyn. And I was a little kid then, and I wanted more attention.
Of course, yes.
And the mom of that home taught me the Our Father. And when I became a teenager, I called her up one day and thanked her for her efforts to take good care of us, because it's a work. It's a 24/7,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
So I appreciated that. But the family, the Murrays that I moved to in Manhattan, was a mom and a dad and one daughter who was a year younger than I. So it was the first time I was really a big sister to anybody. And that kind of set who I became, because I wanted to look after her and play games and do things and argue sometimes.
Of course,
Yeah.
But it was really, and we stayed together the rest of our lives. They have passed away, but my foster father passed away 5 years after I went to live with them. He had a heart attack and
Like when you were 12.
2 weeks before I turned 13.
Okay.
And the New York Foundland Hospital was the agency that
yes.
ran it. And they actually asked us, my foster mom, my foster sister and I, what we wanted to do. Because one of the reasons they had moved the children from the Brooklyn foster home was because they wanted to do everything so that kids would have two parents. And the foster home in Brooklyn didn't have two parents. They had two adults. I don't know what the other ladies, I don't remember her being there all the time. So maybe she was a helper,
Right.
But they moved most of the children to a two-parent household.
Right.
And it was the first time I had a dad. It was amazing. So Father's Day is coming, and I was just reading some things and seeing the ads out and get this for Dad and all that.
Yes.
But he was both of them, both foster parents were tremendous, because they wanted me to come. And so we stayed together for the rest of our lives.
You felt welcome in their home.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Exactly.
Into the question what's your the experience that you had that impacted your outlook in life?
Well, I hadn't been there for a long time when I did something that was wrong. I didn't know it was wrong, but it actually was wrong.
Must have been something tiny based on...
Well, it depends on your point of view. If you have this little daughter that the foster parents had, you didn't want anybody to mess that up,
Right.
So anyway, she told her mom, my foster mom, what happened. And later, I don't know when she told, but at some point, my foster mom and dad came to our room, and I could see by my mother's face this was not going to be good news, whatever it was. So whatever. And then my foster father said, "Did you do that?" And you know how people say your life passes before you?
Okay.
Well, it wasn't my life passing. It was like, what am I going to do? And I didn't debate lying or telling the truth, but I thought of the consequences of either one. I thought more of the consequences of admitting that I had done this, and they say, goodbye, That was really but anyway, but from the moment I came to their home because we had a practice session during the summer that I came for a weekend.
Okay.
And from that moment, my foster father wanted me there. And he had this welcoming, the whole approach, calm, whatever. So that scenario went through my head. And then I said, yeah, I did. He said, well, don't do that again. That was it. He never said anything about it again, neither of the parents. He never looked at me like, is she going to do, it's,
Suspicious, nothing.
nothing. And to me, it was like the way God would be, that he's our Father and he forgives. It's like it never happened, kid, And that was tremendous to me.
He won't even remember it.
Right, exactly. He
Yeah.
doesn't even remember.
Yeah.
And that's the way I couldn't believe that there was a being on earth who really did that. And it was changed my whole aspect, my viewpoint on life and people.
That's amazing, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you think you're calm and very kind. Is that your nature?
Calm? No.
You know?
You look calm. You look very calm.
Well, I've talked to myself, okay, this is God's world. He's in charge here. Just that's just go with it, And I like saying how God has made a difference in my life. That believing that He's not only on our side, not only has our back, but He has a loving plan for us. And He's just like any happy parent looking at their kid that you see out there, Okay, this is what I'm thinking, Jeannie dear. What do you think about this? Well,
Yeah, God and you are walking together every day.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's been my life, and I've seen this whole thing with the foster family. In teaching, I met a lot of children in my own childhood. There were other kids in our school who were lived with foster parents. And so many kids had gone through so many more difficult situations as children than adults have gone through, than I have gone through as an adult. And I want to give God a good report. He's got us.
He got your back.
Yeah. And that,
They say only success rate of the foster parenting.
I'm sorry?
The success
Success
rate of the foster parenting,
Yeah.
20%.
Are successful. I
Yeah.
never knew that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's rare that you have such a loving family.
Yeah, that I knew. That it was rare because none of the kids I knew that had foster parents had that same. Well, there was one. My still foster sister. We're still close.
Right.
Her foster mother, one of her foster mothers, because she lived in different foster homes, was also loving, but she died of a heart attack.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, so it's rare.
But she had that nice
Beginning,
childbearing.
that parenting.
Yeah, the bond there.
Exactly. That she knew somebody really cared about them.
Because that's all a child really wants. That
That's
somebody loves them, they have their back,
Exactly.
they're there for them even if they did something wrong.
Right. Right.
That's true.
So compare with when you were 20 or 30 or 40. Are you happier
She
now?
likes that question.
Yes. I'm happier. Yes, but it's not an end that I don't think that it comes to a point that you're happier and okay, so you sail through the rest of life, because there are always challenges that come up that you have to. Well, this is really not what I had in mind for this stage of my life.
That's true.
You know, so it's always. I used to like to think that I got this. You know, I can. No, the other shoe would fall, and we need some help here. Okay, God, you're still there, right?
Help me, please.
Yes, and to pay attention to the people that He puts in my life, because it's nobody going through this by themselves, and that's one of the great gifts of getting older. I think is that you realize everybody has something to give, from the littlest kid to the oldest adult. Everybody has something to give, and to recognize that and appreciate it, listen, and allow us, each other, to help each other.
That's true. I have to agree with that.
From the concept, you have the Phoenix Club.
The Phoenix Club,
Yeah,
yes.
that I visited,
That-
and they are new friends, new community. Because as we age, we lose our friends or family member.
Yes,
But you are cultivating a new set of
exactly.
people, your
Yes,
community.
right.
That's
And that's also a great gift, because many people have lost, like, as you said, the essential people in their lives. But everybody has developed talents and skills through their lives, and we feed off each other. You know, somebody's good at those agencies or the organizations that in the community that are fostering care for
Yes.
older people, right? And somebody else is the opposite connecting person. She knows all the operas, and she likes to go to them. She wants a partner in this activity. So everybody has something to contribute. You know?
And you can make great friends like that. And
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's been nice to see too, because sometimes older people, and myself included, think, I know. And it's an effort to remember we don't know everything. We need to listen.
that's
you know?
true.
Wow.
And to the younger people and older people, our peers, everybody, we need to listen.
And not enough people do that nowadays.
Mm.
Or they're stuck on their phone, or
Yeah,
they don't listen,
yeah,
and they're losing out.
exactly.
There's not much interaction
No.
between the generations. But your view of thinking, misconception of aging is a little bit different from other people think. Older people think we have so much to offer, we know so much. But
Right.
you were saying the older people are maybe too comfortable thinking we are right.
That we know everything because we're at this age.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
always can learn something from somebody.
Exactly.
Right.
And I remember being a teenager, 60, almost 60, well, whatever, and thinking, what? I have an idea. How come nobody wants to listen to that idea? Oh, that's a kid. No, we had some good ideas too. And the different perspective that kids have now too, that's what keeps me, okay, say, what do you think about such and such? Because thank God that there are younger people with the energy to do the things that we can't do, and the ideas, a different perspective, different way of seeing things.
Sure.
And I think it's important, because we can frustrate them because we don't listen. You know, they're sitting there burning with this idea. Nobody cares because she's young. She doesn't know nothing. Everybody knows something.
Yeah, they do. That's very true. Let me ask a question. So what are you passionate about?
I'm passionate about God
Okay.
and sharing what He is in our lives, and what I'm passionate about teaching. I still teach. I volunteer to teach First Communion classes in my parish,
Nice, very nice.
and I'm passionate in trying to see the good side of something, because there are lots of negative things and things that people, all of us, probably worry about something. And I'm passionate of trying to, okay, that's true. Now, what's the other side of this? What can we either learn from this, or what ability do I have to try to change something?
So you just don't look at everything as face value. You want to see beyond that.
Exactly.
Like turn that page, or maybe
Exactly.
turn that page back
Exactly.
and see if I forgot something on that page.
Exactly.
You want to check it all out.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Okay, I see where you're going from.
You're quick. Thank you.
Let's see.
Sorry, the Katie is lost, so I have to give
Oh,
her.
sure.
Let's
Sorry.
see. Okay, what's your where did you go recently, or even in the past on a vacation that you really enjoyed?
I went to, I taught in the Virgin Islands
Right.
for 1 year, and that changed my whole focus about teaching. Because I was in my 20s, I thought I knew everything. And what didn't work was because somebody else didn't do what they should be doing.
Right.
And I discovered, nope, I don't exactly know everything. I need to read the teacher's edition. There's a reason for it. I can add things to it, but why am I reinventing the wheel and staying up half the night to
Right.
try to write the perfect lesson plan? So the Virgin Islands was wonderful. It introduced me to a family that we are still friends with.
Oh, nice.
I'm the godmother of one of their children, and that's more than 50 years.
Oh,
that
wow.
we have
That's
been
a
in each
very
other's
long time.
lives.
Okay.
And it impacted me because I could easily respect the administrators in that school. They were focused and passionate about teaching kids and nurturing them, the whole kid. You know, it's not just about the ABCs. Those are important, but it's the kind of people we are that matters. How we try to help one another. How we try to do good, kind things for one another. And then
Yeah.
I went to Italy, to Rome, a few years ago.
Oh, we have
for-
another guest that was love Italy.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I went for canonization, and it was. You hear about the universality of the church. That people from all over the world
Yes.
are to live it, to see it in every continent. There were people there for that canonization, and
That must
was-
have been amazing to see that.
Exactly. That was 20 years ago, more than 20 years
Okay.
ago now, and it still gives me goosebumps to see that this is true.
It's part of your faith, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And we want to help that keep happening, being open to one another. You know, that because somebody has different ideas is no reason to say, well, I can't talk to that person. Every person is a child of God, and He loves them. And, okay, I keep wanting to try to like people better. Then, this person's in my way, this person is in the seat I wanted to have,
Yeah.
all those things. And to see it from God's perspective, that's...
If you had to give advice to an 18-year-old self, what would be the advice?
Advice about a job I would give is don't quit.
Don't
Of
quit
course.
the job, right?
Not within the first year.
Okay.
Not 32 years.
Not in the first year. Come back, because the difference between the first year that I taught and the second and the third and the 33rd, there were always struggles and challenges, but there were always things learnable, teachable by somebody, and that I could learn and try to improve it. Because there's such a difference between what you think this job is going to be, and it's not just for teaching, I think any job. There's such a difference between what you think this job is going to be and what in reality it is. How did I get into this? Who told me about when can I get, how can I get out? But to wait it out, till I quit different jobs before I even got the teaching job. I quit. I didn't like whatever. I didn't like the way they treated the older persons. I quit. I didn't like the way, whatever it was. And then teaching, my mother and my sister said to me, how can you do this? You wanted all your life to be a teacher. You finished the 4 years. What do you mean you're quitting? Memorial weekend, that was going to be my last week. But fortunately, I had a little talk with a few people, not to mention God, and to mention God, because, okay, let's think about this. There's a lot more that you put into this job that when the requirements to get here and the reasons why I wanted to be there. I wanted every kid to have a good chance to get an education and help care for, help other people, and to toss that all aside. So, because part of it was I know that this is what I should be doing. No, Jeanne, you don't quite know everything yet. Maybe you could listen a little bit here. So that's how I got the job at the Virgin Islands.
Okay.
And everybody was so right. I love teaching. It's not perfect. I'm not perfect. It was always a work in progress, but we can try to do better. No one said you didn't do a perfect lesson here. We don't need you. Nobody can do. You can think it's a perfect lesson.
No.
But there's always something that we could have done.
You can always do better on it.
Exactly. So.
Yeah, because you have to, every lesson plan, it depends on the students you're working with too. You have to tweak it.
Exactly.
They give you, okay, this is what I want you to do.
Right.
But as the teacher, you have that prerogative to tailor it to what the students want to learn, or what you want to, because sometimes certain students, you got to teach them a certain way.
Exactly. So it took a little while, but I forgot what question you asked me.
Maybe move to the next question.
Okay.
Well, don't worry. We have people that answer the question,
good.
And then it gets into something else,
all right.
which is fine. Don't worry about
Thank
it.
you.
Title of the book that your enemy would have written.
Well, this is a perfect time to ask that, because the title of that book would be Circumlocution Personified. Because just like I lost track of where I was going with my response to your question, I do that so much. I'm telling some exciting story and I go off track.
You go on a tangent.
Yes. And people go,
Because you have so much to talk about.
well, that's your very kind people.
No, you just have a lot of ideas in your mind, and you just get sidetracked. I do that too. Sometimes I mix the people up. Like yesterday, I was with my friend Neil. I was having 3 different topics with him. And he was trying to, I said, okay, look, keep track of what I'm telling you, because I could keep track of it.
Right.
And I'm older than you.
That's good. That is.
So there's nothing wrong with that.
All right. Thank you.
I know what we can talk about. How do you recharge?
One of my, meditating. I do that every morning. With a book or some material, or going over the previous day, thinking about this day. That's what I was meditating about this morning, this time. Okay, Jeanne, just calm down. I've got this.
Don't think too much.
Right, It is just be. And you had said, I think in the last text or something yesterday, we're just having a conversation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like we're getting to know each
Yes.
other, like I told the other guests.
Yeah.
We're just talking, we're getting to know each other. Like you're having like a brunch or a lunch or
Yeah.
Or you met somebody on vacation
Right.
and you're getting to know each other.
Yeah. So the meditation is great. Snacks, a baseball game, or a book, those things help me to recharge. Going out to see the flowers, even in the city.
Okay,
taking
nice.
a walk.
Did you see the tulips?
I did. Oh, on Park Avenue.
Yeah.
I took a picture of one of them
Oh.
because it was the only tulip that had bloomed.
Okay.
And if I had sent that picture, with the caption I would have written was, "Who wants to be first?" Because
okay.
it was the beginning of spring, and it was so invigorating. Okay, spring is going to happen.
And that tulip was saying it all.
Yes,
Wow.
exactly.
You have a nice combination of outdoor interest and indoor interest.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Reading.
I like to see the world.
Yeah, you find goodness in what you're seeing as well.
Absolutely. So thank you for putting this here for us. The eclipse. The solar eclipse a couple of months ago. God made the whole creation for us.
You enjoyed it.
The sun and the stars and the wind and the snow. Oh no, please no snow. But and to enjoy that,
Yeah, some people were taking it as not just for nature, but for the spiritual aspect of it.
Yeah, I saw in I think Syracuse. In most places, people cheered.
Oh yeah,
and-
Syracuse. Yes, they were able to see it.
But in either Rochester
In
or
Dallas.
Syracuse, it was total silence, but the people
They're
in
in
the-
awe of
they're
the
in
nature.
the awe.
Yes.
And to see that both sides of that was beautiful. And families. Oh, steak, vegetables, just a little bit, thank you. Lemon meringue pie and root beer soda.
They're your favorites?
Those are my favorite, yes.
Right. Thank you.
All right, my pleasure.